We're back in his studio. With me is Rachel Rizzuti. I met Rachel, I guess, a little over a year ago. We did 9 to 5 together. It was her first theatrical experience, and then we worked together in a review show at Onstage Productions, and she is back at Onstage doing her own. It's not a one-person show. It's really a show that does highlight, however, her musical talents as a vocalist, called Light Up the Night. Rachel, welcome to Health, Wealth, and Happiness.
Thank you so much, Gary, for having me.
And this is going to take place on Friday and Saturday evenings.
That's right. This Friday and Saturday, it's a 2-night, 1 weekend only event. I'm really, really excited
now,
about it.
Now, this is a showcase show that does showcase your talent, but
yes,
you've also asked some friends to help you out.
Yes, I have. I'm really excited about this showcase because this is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and it is mostly a vocal showcase surrounding me, but I really wanted to get other people involved, and I'm really excited about who I have involved. I've got John Norris, who is my musical director. He was actually the musical director for 9 to 5 and for Legends of Country Music. I don't know if you remember that, but he is there directing my live band, which is awesome. And then I have several friends who are singing with me. I have a friend of mine named J.J. Woodall, Ingram Trexler, Melly Boozer, Haley Claffey, and Mike Hornacek, and they're all singing in varying numbers with me.
Now, you sing both spiritual songs or religious songs and non-religious songs.
Yes.
Are you going to do that? Are you going to showcase those songs?
Yeah. Well, I actually have a full-length worship album on iTunes right now. This show is going to be a little bit different than that, but I will be my faith has been a huge part of my growth and development as a human being in general, and so you can't ignore that. So it's definitely going to be featured in the showcase. But actually, the showcase is going to be a nice mixture of ways that I want to express how you can light up your world and your night wherever you are, in whatever stage of life you're in, whether you're falling in love, or you've been heartbroken, or you're just living your life, or you're just in various stages of learning. And I'm just really looking forward to showcasing some of that in my journey.
That's kind of what Taylor Swift has done. She pretty much sings from the heart and her own experiences.
Yeah, she does.
Now, are you also performing some work that you have written? Because you also compose music.
I do write music. I'm actually in the middle of working on 2 projects right now, one of which is going to be originals and co-writing and writing with a couple friends of mine. The other project is going to be some Broadway covers. This show is actually primarily covers and some other things like that, so I don't really have as many originals in this show, just because I'm a little bit shy about revealing those until I've actually recorded them a lot of times, which is odd. A lot of people like to test it out ahead of time. I like to test it out in the studio first, usually, but I feel like this show is going to be a really fun reflection of the journey I've been on the last 2 years. A nice mixture of Broadway, some classic love songs, some of the kind of worship style that I'm kind of known for, and some folk stuff. And it's going to be very eclectic and fun. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with everybody.
Do you pattern yourself after anybody, or do you have favorites that you say, golly, if I could wave a magic wand, I'd like to be able to sing just like her?
Oh, man, I have several of those. Alas, but I also know that I can only be me, so I'll never be able to sound just like any of these people. But as far as patterning myself after, I think most singers, we all kind of try to do that in a way, but ultimately, I really just try to learn from what I like to call the great ones, the great female singers. And for me, I'd say the primary ones, they kind of change sometimes, but a big one is Barbra Streisand. I love her story and I love her voice. I just feel like she's just a legend to me. And
she's been so consistent over the last 55 years of her career.
Yeah.
it's amazing. There are very few artists that maintain the quality of performance like she has.
Yes, and
you can count on one hand a number of people. I'm amazed at Tony Bennett, who started recording in the early 50s.
Wow.
And he still is recording, and he'll soon be 90 years old. But I don't know anybody else who's 90 that still has a voice, but he does.
He really does. It's beautiful. And so there's Barbara, there's Celine. I don't really pattern myself after Celine that much, just because there's just certain things she can do I just can't do. But but I would say the big female names that stick out for me, that I look at, I kind of like to look at their whole lives. Sometimes I've actually sometimes taken a singer and I've studied them, and I just read books about them. I read articles about them. I listen to their interviews, and I listen to their songs. I try singing some of their songs. I try observing how they sing and what makes them different from this other person over here who might sing the same song but does it completely differently. And then I try to kind of take all that in. And then, of course, it has to come out differently because this is me and my voice, and I know certain things I can do, but and other things that I'm still working on. And that's the beauty, I think, of being a singer and an interpretive artist that way, is that you have a chance to kind of reinvent something and interpret it your own way. Someone recently just shared with me that a lot of times people think that they have to pattern themselves after somebody great to be noticed, but really the best thing that you can do is be the best you can be. And my primary concern, especially even right now with this showcase, has been I really want to treat everyone really well, everyone who's helping me, because I'm still just, I'm just a regular person. I work 3 jobs. I'm a barista at Starbucks. I'm a laser tag referee. Sometimes I dress up as a princess and do birthday parties for kids. So I am by no means like on the road to giant fame and fortune at all. But I love singing and I love doing excellent music right here where I'm at. And so I'm just looking forward to hopefully more opportunities opening up.
And obviously you're a risk taker because, I think a lot of people have the kind of dreams that you have, but you've turned this dream into a reality.
Thank you.
And that takes a lot of courage. It really does.
Thank you.
And especially since theater and presenting yourself to the public is fairly new to you.
Yes. This is the first time I'm actually doing a showcase where it's got my name on it. And I'm just really excited because this will be really fun, but I have a real heart for promoting other artists too. That's why I have people involved with me, and that's why I'm hoping that as this goes well this weekend, that hopefully more opportunities will open up, and I might even get to do something similar again, or do a showcase where I just feature other artists, and I just get to kind of sit back and watch them go. So,
well, I know that you want to give credit to Robert Harrelson,
yes,
who owns Onstage Performance Center, because he's the one who really approached you and said, if you ever want to do anything like this. So he kind of planted the idea for you to do this.
Well, it's really cool how it happened, because this is something I shared with you a while back, that this was something I've wanted to do for a long time. And I'd been looking into, where do I go? Do I rent a theater? How much does it cost? How can I handle it? And I hadn't really been able to make any headway. Well, I was in 12th Night at Onstage Performance Center with Robert Harrelson as part of that process, and I had not even spoken to him about it, but one day in rehearsal, he just walked up to me and said, hey, if you ever want to do something like a showcase or a concert, please let me know, because I would love to allow you to use our space, and because I really want to be a supporter and an encourager for you. And I can't tell you how much that meant to me when he said that. So it was a real blessing, and it was really cool, because it was just one of those things where, those strange moments where it's like someone knows that that's what you need, and it's like God told him, tell Rachel, this. And so it was I'm very thankful for him and the whole crew over there at Onstage.
what I think is interesting, and you don't know this story, but I had seen you perform at Village Square Theater in a review show, and I told Robert about you. And he said, I said, Robert, I know that you are planning to do a country legend show. Mm-hmm. I want you to see this young lady. And he said, okay. So we go to see the review show, and Rachel was not in the first act. She was in the second act. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the first act, he said to me, well, she can't be all that great. She didn't even sing in the first act. And I said, well, you just have to trust me. So finally she comes out to sing. And and I watched his facial expressions as he listened to Rachel for the first time. And when she finished, I said to him, have you any questions? He said, no. and then he went up after the performance and introduced himself and told her that what he had in mind in terms of the legend show, and said, I hope that you will come and audition. And she did, mm-hmm. and he cast her, and the rest is history. So I feel I had something to do with that, and so I think it's funny how things go full circle. You never know mm-hmm. how things like that work out.
Yeah.
And we had worked together in 9 to 5, but I had just a little part in the show, and I don't come in until I'm the last character in the show, mm-hmm. and I never really got to interact with the cast because I told the director, look, I've been doing theater for over 30 years. I don't need the experience of being in rehearsal every night. I promise you this. I'll show up during Tech Week. Mm-hmm. I will be self-contained. I will have all my lines. You won't have to worry about me knowing my lines. You just block me where you want me to be, and the rest will do.
Yeah.
And she trusted me, and she said, okay, well, your reputation's kind of preceded you, so I'm going to trust what you say you'll do. Mm-hmm. I did, she did, but I never really knew the cast because I didn't work with the cast. The show was ready to go. I came in, I did my 20-some lines, bada bing, bada boom, out the door. But that was the first time that we had ever met.
That's right. You stood next to me in that final scene,
yeah.
And I just remembered thinking, I really like Gary, and I'm really glad he's here. But that was my first actual theatrical experience as an adult. I'd done things when I was a kid, but I'd never done anything else. Oh, it's also important for me to say, one of the things that I'm really excited about with this is that personally, the last maybe year and a half has been probably one of the most difficult of my life because I've been walking through some really big questions. When you're in your late 20s, you have a lot of questions about life and all of these different things. And the cool thing is that I've really come to an understanding that it's okay to ask those questions, and it's okay to not know everything. And the best way to walk through those things is you have to turn on your light of hope and trust in yourself that you are going to figure it out. And that's another huge part of the theme for this weekend is I really hope that when people come, they'll really be encouraged wherever they are, whether they have faith or whether they have no faith or whether they're walking through hard times or whether they're having the time of their life. I really would like for them to walk out really feeling excited and inspired to go out and do what they do.
The two performances are at 7 o'clock. They're at Onstage Performance Center. Do you have the address?
Yes, I do. It's actually 680 Cherokee Lane, West Columbia, South Carolina. It's right off exit 113 off 26.
I thank you so much for coming and sharing on Health, Wealth, and Happiness.
Thank you, Gary.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock.